All right, let us move along. How fun is this? It's been a while since we talked to my old friend, my old broadcast colleague, Kenny Florian. You know him. He's on FS1, doing a great job, UFC Tonight. And of course, he's on the desk often, pre and post fight shows, but he's got a lot of other exciting things going on. Let's go to the magic of Skype and say hello to Kenneth, who is standing by. There he is. Kenny Florian. How about, it just warms my heart. A familiar face, a familiar smile. It's just great. It's great to talk to you again.
We don't talk often enough.
Yes.
How am I supposed to go after Lewis too?
I know. It's amazing.
Setting me up for failure, bud.
No, well, look, I'm just happy you're on. You're so busy. You're doing your own podcast, trying to squeeze me in here. I mean, I got like 5 minutes with you. I have to go through a PR guy, some Hollywood guy to get to you. It's amazing. Last week we had Aljamain on. He's doing the interview with you and Anik while we have Chris Weidman on. I could hear the thing going on at the same time. I mean, I feel like we're almost competitors at this point.
I know that's not right. I mean, they got to sort it out over there. They got to get organized. I didn't
How
know
is that going?
Was what's going on because they're like, what is all that commotion? He was talking to Chris, and yeah. Oh well.
How's the podcast going? I know you're not on to talk about the podcast, but how is it going?
Yeah, no, it's going great, man. It's been fun. Obviously, anytime Anik and I are able to talk fights for longer than like 30-second increments, it's great, and we have a lot to talk about, and we try to get into the nitty-gritty of the fights and what's going to happen, and it's as you know, it's a great format because you have so much more time. On television, you only have like 15 to 20 seconds to break down a fight. You don't have a whole lot anyway. So
yeah,
with a podcast, I feel like I'm able to get most of what I want out. So
and now you're well past 100 episodes, right?
Yes. Yeah. Crazy to think. I think we're right around like 140, maybe 150, something like that.
That's notable. Like around 50, 60 is notable because once you pass that threshold, now you're a thing. Like a lot of podcasts like happen and people get excited and they die after like 25. Now it's a thing. Like now if you go away, it's a thing. Like you are a consistent part of people's lives. You can't go away that easily, at least. So, kudos to you guys for sticking with it. Cause I know early on it's probably tough. You got different schedules, flying, this and that. It's not easy to coordinate.
No, not at all, man. Especially, for Anik, he's flying all over the place, has to fly back to Florida and do it out of his home and, catching a flight and not sleeping. He takes a lot of red eyes right after the flight. So, it's especially tiring for him, I'm sure.
And I'm not trying to bury the lead here, but just a couple other things. You opened up we haven't talked in a while, a new jiu-jitsu gym, right? A new, what would I call it? A martial arts studio? What would you call it? What is the official name?
Yeah, it's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. So it's called Meraki Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I opened up this place with my business partner, Jason Hunt, who's a high-level black belt in judo and jiu-jitsu. And yeah, we opened it up, I guess, officially in August. And it's been going great, man. Like the community has been amazing. All of our students have been awesome. And it's just been fun, man. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I have one obviously in Boston, but I've been really missing teaching. I've been feeling that call to teach and see people's lives change. And it's fun, man. It's been really cool.
By the way, why didn't you call it Florian Martial Arts?
I guess I was looking for a different brand. We kind of went with a whole different kind of brand. And sorry, my baby girl over here is calling me. So I just been, wanted to go with a different brand. It's kind of a different kind of gym. I've always liked the word Meraki, which means to do something with love and passion, part of your soul. And, and it's been going great. And since I'm opening up with someone who's not my brother, we decided to go with a different brand as well.
And Meraki is Portuguese?
Meraki is actually a Greek word, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
No affiliation with the Greek language, but other than that, I came across the word and thought it was cool.
I like it. I like it a lot, and I like the meaning. Yeah. I was actually the next thing I was going to ask you about was being a dad, fatherhood, and I see it's a thing that's happening in your life right now. What is going on? What is happening right now with your daughter? Why do you keep standing up? I love this. This is great.
I have like the little play thing above her little dock-a-tot, so she's hanging out and has her pacifier, and she's kind of I'm kind of moving the little toys above her head.
So you're literally staring at her right now.
Kinda, sorta. Yeah, I can see her. She's right in front of me. Yes.
Wow. And is
Yeah.
she? Do you feel like this is a tease? Like, is she trying to get you to pick her up?
I don't know. She was earlier. She was getting a little fussy earlier. I think she's a little probably due for a nap. But
What? Look at you,
yeah,
due
man.
for
I
a
mean,
nap.
it's fun. It's fun. It's been cool to be able to hang out and just like look at her. I'm sure like when you had your kids, it's like you just want to stare at them. So
Yes.
it's been really cool.
Now, are you
Yeah.
alone right now? Are you on dad duty? Right? Like, is your wife not home?
I am. I'm on dad duty right now. Yeah, my wife went to go wash the dog, and she'll be back
Oh my
in a few
gosh.
minutes. So yeah.
Are you freaking out, or is this common?
I was freaking out a little bit. She was a little fussy before your call. I'm like, oh, come on, True, don't start crying while they call. Like, I'm on my own, man. You got to help me out. So yeah,
It's the best. It's the best. And how old is she?
she is 11 weeks old.
Oh my
11
God,
weeks
this is
old.
great.
Yeah.
This is the best. I say to my wife sometimes, like, I can't wait to tell my kids. Like, I remember there was one story I broke while giving them a bath, and I was freaking out. I was trying to get it, and they're like two little, rugrats naked in the bath fighting with each other. And I can't wait to tell them in 10 years, I'm
Yeah.
freaking out about breaking a story while I'm giving you guys a bath. You're peeing in the bath and things like that. It's like these are the things that you live for. Like when they're off to college,
Yeah.
you're gonna be, reminiscing about these days. This is the greatest. You got to embrace it.
Absolutely, man. It's fun.
Okay, now that I've beat around the bushes, you're here to promote the
Yes.
brand new season of BattleBots. It's back.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm excited, man. We're going to turn you into a fan, by the way,
Yes.
Ariel. I told you before, man. Yeah, no, it's been great, man. I wasn't sure if it was going to come back. It was on ABC for the first two seasons. Obviously, it was a reboot of the show that was on Comedy Central in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and came back to ABC. It was really popular. People loved it. And I don't know, it seemed like ABC couldn't really find a home for it, even though it was doing well. I think they kind of just wanted to do other stuff. And I think it's on the perfect network now. It's on the Discovery Channel. So, and it will also be on the Science Channel as well. So I'm excited, man. We're done filming the season. It was a whirlwind, amazing fights, really interesting bot builders, and I'm hoping for a really good season. So, well, 20 episodes. It starts May 11th.
Yes, I was just going to say that it starts Friday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Discovery Channel, and Wednesday, May 16th at 9 p.m. on Science Channel. So is it every Friday it premieres?
Yes.
Okay. And I know there's actually some longtime BattleBot fans. You say you're going to turn me into a BattleBot fan. There's some longtime BattleBot fans who work on the show in the control room, and they were telling me about the old days on Comedy Central. But you call it straight, right? Like you're treating this like a real sporting event.
Yeah,
Kinda?
yeah. I mean, a little. If there's something funny that that happens, we of course bring it to light, and by that I mean me and my broadcasting partner Chris Rose, who's phenomenal, and yeah, we have fun with it. Don't get me wrong, but we want to treat these guys, kind of like a race car driver in a way, because the stuff that they have to do, Ariel, is amazing. And every season, they're kind of bringing new technology to the table, and the amount of hours that they put into this is astonishing. And the money. I mean, a lot of these bots, when you include labor and all that stuff, you're looking like $100,000 bot. That's
Wow.
like 250 pounds. So it gets up there. So a lot of hours, a lot of money involved, and it's impressive when you see these guys are working like day in and day out in the pits trying to get these bots ready for the next fight. So it's kind of like the early tournament days of the 8-man tournaments. It's like if you're injured, you can't really go on and be that effective in the next fight. So they have to do a lot of pit work to get these robots up and ready.
And it's legit, right? It's not scripted. It's like you don't know who's gonna win.
No.
These are actual fights.
Correct. So some awesome fights this season. You'll see upsets. You'll see favorites smash other bots, and I'm really excited for people to see it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And are they competing multiple times in the same night?
Yes. Yeah. In some instances, yes. Some bot builders had a chance to kind of come back the next day and fight, but yeah, some of these bot builders are going 2 or 3 times in one night.
And how many people per team? Like how many men and women are focused on one bot?
Sometimes there'll be like 2 or 3, and sometimes there'll be like eight people on a team. So those that have more people on the team are able to, put the bot back together a lot quicker. So it's definitely an advantage to have more people on the team.
This is amazing. This is like that BBC interview when the kids walked in, except your daughter can't walk. Is great. It's awesome.
That was the first thing I thought of, dude.
Yes.
Like, yeah, she's trying to steal my interview over here.
It's all
This
good.
is my time. Come on, this is my time.
Unfortunately for us, we're not the BBC, and no one's really watching, so you don't really have to worry about this.
I don't believe that. You have a good phone.
And notice that you said good, not great. I noticed that, by the way. I get very sensitive.
Great
Okay.
following. Yes. Yeah.
And so you taped it all, right? So it's like a tournament.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there like a bracket?
There was like, yeah. So it started out kind of like a fight night. So we'd have different fights kind of that we really wanted to see. So like kind of because the tournament format, you don't always get the fights that you want. Now, obviously, we know that from MMA, like things don't always pan out the way we want. So I thought it was a smart setup that they did in the beginning where they put together these fights that everyone wanted to see, like kind of like the big names. There's a Brazilian team that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Tombstone for those BattleBots watchers. It's he's kind of one of the big favorites. So we get some of these big fights together, and then later on in the season we do the tournament.
By the way, how do you get a gig like this? Like, how did you were you a BattleBot guy back in the day?
It's a good question. I got a call one day from someone. I don't know how they got my number, but they asked me about if I'd be interested in what I knew about BattleBots, and I knew about it, thankfully. And I'm into technology. I like cars and things like that, so it's kind of a similar thing. And went through the interview process, and it was late in the game, and I was like, well, they reached out to me. I was like the last guy they reached out to, and who knows what was going to happen. I didn't think I was going to get the job, and I ended up getting the job and had a blast and worked really well with Chris Rose, and thankfully they've continued to bring me back, man. And it's cool how I've genuinely become a BattleBots fan. Like,
wow.
I watched the show. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I really wasn't that educated on it. And it's season after season, I know more about it, know more about the bot builders, and more impressed every time.
Did someone put you like through a crash course? Like, did you have to learn about the technology and what happens when they break and things like that? It's not just like calling a fight for you, right? It's not second nature.
It's intense, man. So literally, they give me a packet that's probably that thick every season.
Wow.
This year, I think we had 58 bot builders. So that means it's like a fight, right? So I have to research 58 teams, 58 robots, what it does, how it does it, strategies, techniques, the different kinds of weapons that they can put on the bot. So I have to study all of this stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
And how many days did you film it for? You said 20 straight days?
So we did it. So it was 20 episodes. I think we did 20 episodes in just a couple weeks. So
okay,
it was a grind, man. Yeah,
intense. Yeah, that's intense. You got a legend with you, Chris Rose from back in the Best Damn Sports Show days. I remember him. He's great.
Yes, he is. He's awesome, man. Funny guy too. So we have a fun time. Like when there is something funny that happens or something, we definitely point it out.
Are you doing Telestrator stuff too? Are you breaking it down?
No, we don't. Not to that level. We definitely give our opinions on what we think is going to happen and try to break it down the best that we can. And we do some replay stuff, but not to that level of Telestrator or anything like that.
By the way, like the average fight, how long does it last?
So each fight is 3 minutes long. Fight is 3 minutes long. Some fights end after 7 seconds, some go the distance. And they have judges' decision. They have 3 judges who will give a decision based on the damage, control, and very similar to mixed martial arts, you have some controversial decisions every once in a while.
I love it. I'm in. May 11th, 8 p.m. Discovery Channel, May 16th, 9 p.m. on Science Channel. What's the difference between the May 11th episode and the May 16th episode on Science?
It's just a replay. So it's just a replay. They started showing replays on the Science Channel, and that's really the reason they brought it back is the response was so good watching the replays of the first 2 seasons that, Discovery and Science Channel wanted to have it back. So that was awesome.
Okay. By the way, and I don't mean to pry, but this is a very interesting time in the world of MMA from a TV standpoint. How are you feeling? What's it like
Yes.
with the TV news and everything like that? You're a big part of what Fox does, UFC Tonight, all that stuff. Is it weird? Are you feeling anxious? Do you feel good? What could you tell us?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about the whole thing. I think listen, I hope that whatever it is, that it brings more viewership to mixed martial arts. I hope that it's something that is going to benefit the fighters, the organization, and we'll see what happens. The latest I heard is that they were going to kind of split the fights
Yeah.
between ESPN and Fox, and we'll see what happens. Now, I personally haven't heard that much of like what they're actually going to do. But just kind of waiting, man, and seeing what happens. So,
Do you miss doing the color? I know you're doing more of the desk these days. Do you miss doing the
yeah,
color?
yeah, no, I do. I really do. I miss it. I mean, there's nothing like watching a fight cage side and calling the fight and calling the action and getting a chance to break things down and talk about some of the more technical aspects and strategy that's going on during a fight. That's something I really enjoy doing. Haven't been able to do it in a while, but I think who knows? Who knows what the future will hold?
Yes, I think they should use you more if you're asking me, but no one asks me. So
I
my
appreciate
my 2 cents means nothing. By the way, how awkward was it to sit next to Cormier and Gustafsson a couple weeks ago?
that. Gee, no one makes it more awkward than Cormier. It
Yeah.
was so awkward. I mean, even Ariel, like what they didn't show, like off camera.
Oh yes.
It's not even an act. Like DC's not even doing this to like hype up a fight. He made it awkward as soon as Gustafsson walked in the room. DC's like, "Oh, you look like you're a heavyweight now. You're looking fat. And you can't beat me." And I mean, it was funny, man. DC's a trip, as you know.
You had to be a mediator. Last thing before I let you go, how about this? Some breaking news. July 6th on FS1, they just announced, the UFC did, that it is going to be in the main event, Brad Tavares against Israel Adesanya in a middleweight fight, the
Oh,
tough finale main event. I feel like this is a little too soon for Israel. What do you think?
this is a tough fight. Listen, as far as having a fight on the feet, Israel has the capability of beating anyone in the world in his weight class. Brad Tavares does hit hard. However, he's very big for the weight class. He has a
Yeah.
lot of experience. He's a guy who can mix things in with takedowns. For me, for Israel to be that world-class fighter, he certainly has the striking game. I think it comes down to him really improving his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu. And if he's able to do that, we could have a future champion over there. But I think you're right. I think even that fight against Vittori was kind of a test. Tavares is certainly a step up above Vittori. So that's going to be an interesting fight. And both guys are good guys, man.
Of all the fights that have been announced, leading up to the summer and a little bit after the summer, which fight are you most interested in? Which are you most looking forward to?
Well, geez, I guess on a personal level, of course, the Stipe Miocic fight is pretty fascinating. I'm really curious to see, first of all, how DC competes again at heavyweight, and how Stipe deals with the wrestling game of DC. I think that's just a fascinating fight. Always nervous for my friend anytime he fights. And I think the one that's also kind of intriguing is the Darren Till and Wonderboy fight.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that Darren Till is massive for the weight class. I think he's a tremendous striker, but I don't think he's faced anyone like Wonderboy. And I think he's one of the most difficult guys to prepare for. So, listen, if he goes out there and beats Wonderboy and finishes him like he says he can, we definitely have more than a star in that division.
Okay, last thing. People might not realize this, but you are like the Georges St-Pierre whisperer. Whenever you say something about George, it's always spot on. You somehow have this direct link to the guy. Does he fight again? And if so, against who?
Yeah, I think George will most likely fight. I think he's going to fight in some kind of super fight scenario. I don't know if it's going to be against a champion necessarily in division, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of non-title fight that's going to be big. And why not? I think if there's one guy who deserves it, it's Georges St-Pierre. He's a guy who's obviously proven time and time again to be a big pay-per-view star, and I think there's a lot of fun fights you can make as well.
What's your pick? What's your pick?
Yeah.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy he fights? Yeah.
Who would he fight? I think someone like a Khabib Nurmagomedov would be interesting.
Okay, but a non-title fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'd meet in the catch weight, something like that. But and another person, of course, would be a Conor McGregor. I mean, I think that no matter how you look at it, those are the two, biggest names in the sport. You have the biggest name of, a past generation against the current biggest name, Conor McGregor, and I think that'd be a mega fight.
Kenny, congratulations on fatherhood. First and foremost, congratulations on the continued success of the podcast. On all the great work that you're doing. And of course, BattleBots returning, as I said, May 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Discovery. And then the replay, as you said, Wednesday, May 16th, 9 p.m. on Science Channel. It is a return of BattleBots, Kenny Florian, their color analyst. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a believer. I will watch on May 16th. What else do I have to, May 11th? I will watch because I have nothing else to do on a Friday night. There's no fights going on. Why the hell not?
One day, we're going to get you as a sideline reporter.
Oh, that'd be nice.
BattleBots news and fight.
I tell you, ever since they took that,
my goal.
Ever since they took that Fox job away from me, I mean, I've been struggling. It'd be nice to get some extra income, Kenny.
I don't believe that.
It would be nice.
Great. But listen, man, I apologize for my daughter making a ruckus.
No.
It was a little bit.
No, I loved it. Trust me, she added a lot to this interview. Are you kidding me? By the way, my son, 6 years old today. I remember on UC Tonight they put that picture.
Wow.
Zeus put the picture of my face over the baby that week when my son was born. Yeah, 6 years today.
6 years old.
Wow, look at your memory. Yep,
Dude,
6 years old. Yep.
That is unbelievable. Wow. Well, congratulations. That's awesome, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And congrats to you. And of course, congrats on the opening of the BJJ gym as well. I see that it's beautiful. Leah is always there. Leah Mondia, our common friend.
Yes, that's right.
It's a beautiful thing. So one day I'll go there as well. Great to catch up. Like I said, go back to your daughter. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. There he is, the one and only Kenny Florian, one of the best in the business. There's very few like him, a real mensch.